Hello, everyone. I'm Ros Johnston, the Senior Conference Producer and Content Manager at Sustainable Aviation Futures, and I'm speaking today with Manuel Coxe, the Secretary General for MARCOGAZ and the Vice Chairman for the EU Clean Hydrogen Joint Undertaking Stakeholders Group. Manuel, welcome. Thank you very much for speaking to me today.
Thank you very much for the invitation, and I'm very much excited to be speaking to you.
Fantastic. Thank you. Well, I will start right away and just ask by asking you to tell us a little bit about yourself and your roles at MARCOGAZ and the European Clean Hydrogen Joint Undertaking Stakeholders Groups, please.
Great. I am Manuel Coxe. I'm the Secretary General of MARCOGAZ, and I'm also the Vice Chair of the Clean Hydrogen Partnership Stakeholders Group. I have been with MARCOGAZ for 4 years now, and as Vice Chair at the Clean Hydrogen Partnership Stakeholders Group for 1 year. Starting with MARCOGAZ, MARCOGAZ is the technical association of the European gas industry. We are based in Brussels, and we represent practically the whole value chain of gas, and we address issues related to renewable gases in terms of supply, transport, distribution, and end use. And now we are also dealing with technical aspects on carbon capture. At the Clean Hydrogen Partnership, we, as stakeholders, make sure that the projects that are funded for hydrogen, they meet the needs of the industry, and we also represent all the value chain in these discussions.
Fantastic. So you've got a brilliant overview of the hydrogen landscape in Europe.
Definitely.
Yes. Which brings me to my next question. You are speaking at the Sustainable Aviation Futures European Congress on a panel which is looking at the current state of clean hydrogen in Europe. So because we're coming up to the event just over 5 weeks away, to set the scene a little bit, can you give some insight into what the current landscape looks like? What are the scopes for developments in the near and perhaps medium term?
Great. First of all, thank you very much for inviting me to join as a speaker in this very important event. It is true that we will be discussing many aspects related to hydrogen, but not only hydrogen, all the fuels for the aviation industry. In particular, for my panel, we will be addressing issues related to supply and demand of hydrogen. And this is very important because then here there is this chicken and egg issue. Do we have demand for hydrogen so that we can develop the supply, or do we have supply and then we are looking for demand? But I think that in terms of demand, the aviation sector will be one of the most important parts, and we will be discussing this. One of the other aspects we will be addressing is related to which extent, what is the stage today for the scalability of electrolyzers? So for the production of hydrogen, what do we need? Today we are witnessing projects at 10 megawatts of electrolyzers, 50 megawatts, but what is needed to scale up to levels of 500 megawatts. This will be also part of the discussion in the panel. And the third point that we'll be addressing is related to transport of hydrogen. How do we transport this hydrogen to the end use, and how we store it? And when we talk about transport, we are mostly dealing with transport of hydrogen in its liquefied state. In its gaseous state. When it comes to liquefied state for import, that is also another issue. Maybe we will not be addressing it in this panel, but it is important to consider both the gaseous and the liquefied hydrogen, because for the aviation, both will be very important. But definitely, hydrogen is the future of the aviation. And I think that participating in the discussion for at which extent hydrogen will help the aviation industry to decarbonize will be very, very important.
Brilliant, thank you. And in developing hydrogen for use for aviation, where do you see the biggest challenges with the use of clean hydrogen? Do you think, is it competition from other sectors? Of course, you've got overview on other sectors scaling hydrogen, or is it the logistics and infrastructure, as you've kind of alluded to, or something else entirely? What do you see as the biggest challenges?
Great. Well, thank you for this question because it is very, very important. The first thing I would like to mention is that it's true that there are challenges, but let's look to those challenges as opportunities as well. But starting with the challenges itself, I will limit myself on three main aspects. The first one is related to hydrogen infrastructure. The airports need hydrogen infrastructure. If we are building new infrastructure dedicated to hydrogen, there are some challenges related to it. And the second one is, at which extent is it possible to repurpose the kerosene infrastructure we have at airports and airplanes to hydrogen? This is one of the challenges. Another challenge is related to technology itself. So technology in terms of transport, storage of hydrogen, it is gaseous and liquefied form. It's a challenge because we have to make sure that the transport and storage is possible. Let's say when we talk about this transport and storage, there are different technical aspects because the gaseous form, it is very easy and straightforward, and because we are already dealing with natural gas. But when we look to liquefied hydrogen, that we have to keep at temperatures lower than minus 253 degrees, it's quite a big challenge. The third one is related to the use of hydrogen in aviation itself. Do we use it for with gas turbines, or we use it for fuel cells, or are we considering airplanes in hybrid form, like using batteries simultaneously with hydrogen engines? These are challenges. Of course, there are many others. If we look to the economic side, there are also challenges in terms of costs of hydrogen today. But now, if we turn to the opportunities, I think that looking into hydrogen today, we have in front of us the greatest opportunity to change the game for the aviation. And I believe that hydrogen is really the future of aviation. But above all, the aviation industry itself is so interacted with other sectors that the shift from kerosene to hydrogen, or from kerosene to hybrid aviation, will contribute to the economic growth of other sectors and also create, let's say, clean jobs. And the third one is the fact that the aviation or the planes are connecting countries, and not only developed countries, but also countries into development. If we start to use hydrogen, even those countries who which doesn't consider hydrogen as priority will be obliged to enter into the game of hydrogen. And the incentive of bringing all these countries into the hydrogen business, it is also an opportunity not only for the economy, but also for the climate. And when we look to the competition, yes, it is a wealthy competition, but let's look first on the competition which is based on technology readiness. Batteries, I think that they are far ahead than hydrogen today, even for aviation. But we have to look at which extent this competition exists in terms of technology readiness, but also availability. Hydrogen is not available in abundance yet, the way that we can use it in aviation, and technology is developing, and also the question of costs. Of course, the competition is always takes into consideration the cost factors. And hydrogen, I must say, the cost of hydrogen today is not competitive yet. But of course, technology will help to develop and overcome this barrier. There is also competition between technologies themselves in the aviation, at which extent companies will invest in technologies of hydrogen today in detriment of batteries. Or if we look to the hydrogen, is to use the hydrogen turbines or to use the fuel cells. So this is all aspects that are in the competition. But if we look to the wider range of the sectors, of course, there is competition between sectors. If we look to the hydrogen today is scarce. The way that we can use it. And there are many sectors ready to use hydrogen. Refineries are there waiting for hydrogen. Chemical industry, the iron and steel, and the power sector. And aviation is not the only one who is waiting for hydrogen. So to win this battle for hydrogen, the aviation industry will have to work hard and push hydrogen on their side. And in this case, the speediness of technology development will be very important.
Thank you very much for that. That was really, really in depth. And I think what you said about challenges, and we can also view those as opportunities, even with competition from other sectors. You mentioned how linked aviation is to other sectors, and obviously it's a global industry. So even with this competition, there is an element of, if one industry is furthering hydrogen technology, yes, maybe that is creating competition, but it's also creating opportunities for aviation. So really, really exciting landscape, and I think really looking forward to hearing it discussed in more detail at the Congress. Last question. What do you see as the benefits of attending and speaking at events like Sustainable Aviation Futures EU Congress, and why should our audience be there and come and see your panel?
Great. It is a right place to be if you are in the not only aviation industry, but in the mobility sector, but also in the whole value chain. If you are in the industry related to hydrogen production, transmission, distribution, storage, or the end use like the aviation itself, this Congress is the place to be, because there we will be debating the future of the mobility industry, the future of our economies, the future of our societies. So if you are interested in participating in the debate, you have to join us. Even if you are not speaking, be there and make your questions. Bring your queries, bring your questions, so that the debate becomes much fruitful. This is one of the aspects. The second aspect is that it is a place where experts will be meeting. Technical experts, policymakers, and also leaders who make the decisions for companies will be there. So it is very important that you bring your positive influence and you make the aviation industry a great place to work, a great place to grow economy. And I think that the Congress will provide all these opportunities to interact, to make connections. But above all, I will be speaking there. So take this chance and join me, and you will be able to learn on what MARCOGAZ is doing in regard to hydrogen, both on transmission and distribution. And it will be really a pleasure to meet you there. So I'm looking forward to exchanging with you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. As Manuel said, make sure to come along to the Sustainable Aviation Futures Congress in May. Thank you so much, Manuel, for taking the time to speak to me. This has been really, really interesting, and I cannot wait to hear what you say on stage in May.
It's my pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye. Thanks.